Okay, this is a completely impromptu video. I was just setting up to look at this KSGER soldering iron from the usual Chinese electronic supermarket. I just had it on for 5 minutes and it started making this arcing sound. So I'm in the process of taking the backplate off and checking what it was doing. It sounded like as the soldering iron was turning on and off, some arcing was going on. It sounded like arcing, and as I started taking the screws out, smoke started pouring out. You might be able to see the smoke now. Holy balls. What the hell? Can't even tell you what is going on. Look at this cap. It's pierced. It's been smashed in and pierced. What? Well, this is a bit concerning. Let's just take the front panel off. Actually, can I separate the... No, obviously I can't until I take the front panel off. I'll just remove this front top 2 screws and see if I can slide out that top section. Unbelievable. It almost sounded like a dry joint or some sort of... Oh look. Okay. Whoops. Can't even tell you where the smoke was coming from. What? We've just got hot snot holding in the power board. That is concerning as hell. 400 volt, and it's been. Oh, let me just have a closer look. It does look like it's been compromised. Well, yeah. I'm going to put it under the digital microscope, I think, because I can't quite make it out. Let's move over there and have a look. Okay, we've got the top of that mains filter cap in the shot on the digital microscope here. And you can agree that whatever's impacted the top, just point with this hobby knife, whatever has impacted the top. Oh, look at this. Is this all its guts? Yep, that's all the electrolyte. Was that the source of the noise? Oh my God, look at that, it's just wet. This item's been running for a total of probably 5 minutes after it got delivered yesterday. And that something has impacted the top of this. You can see the impact marks. The top of that capacitor, and it's caused it to open up. Unbelievable. Now I couldn't actually locate where the source of the smoke came from, but what I might do is I'll quickly plug it back in on the test bench. Let's get that in focus so you can see what's going on. Just check it out generally. Oh, it stinks. It does smell like squirting cap. Let's have a look at the top of the lid. Oh, look at that. Okay. This is the inside of the lid. Let's see if I can put that in front of the camera. Can you see that? No. Just see that stain. I'll set you back up on the test bench and have a, oh, disgusting. How frustrating is that? And not only that, how dangerous is it? This shit is allowed to be sold in the market. All right, let's go back to the bench, plug it in and see what's going on. I'm probably gonna get sprayed in an electrolyte, but I'll take one for the team. You guys need to be aware. Unbelievable. Righto, see you on the bench. Okay, back on the bench, and we can see this case in that wet spot where it's decided to unload its contents. It blows me away. You can see that sits over there once we slide that back on. It's directly over that cap. Right, let's plug it back in. It's nice knowing you guys. And see what happens. All right, it's turned off at the main. Now, I don't know whether this is, oh no, it's a complete isolation. Or is it? Oh, we'll soon find out. Here we go. Keep an eye on this area. Okay, turning on 3, 2, 1. Yep. It's actually looks like a bloody rocket that's about to take off on the launch pad. Check this out. See if you can see that. Focus on that. 3, 2, 1. I've got to turn it off. Something is definitely not right with that cap. Well, so much for a review. I was just about to set up to do a review on this. I'm really excited to get one. All the rave apparently. And then this happens. Some weird ass noise comes out of it and I thought, okay. Take the first screw out to investigate and there's just smoke pissing out. Righto, I'll see if I've got another 400, what was it? 400 volt cap. It's fairly low on the value, 68 microfarad, but I'll replace that and see what we can see. Hopefully it fixes the issue. Back shortly. On second thought, you might as well follow along just in case we find some other surprises. I'll just take this last couple of screws out. And that way that separates the front panel from the chassis. Oh, it stinks. So disappointing. But then this was just over $70 delivered to Kangaroo Land, and just blows my mind. Yeah, look at that. I don't know if you can see that, but that's almost like arcing, like spatter marks stuck to the base right underneath where that cap. Oh God, let's get rid of this snot. It's not even sticking. How is that possible? How can snot not stick? If there's such a thing. A bit of IPA. Let's clean this up before I forget. I like the aluminium case. That's pretty neat. All right, put that over there. This is so new. I haven't even had a chance to do the peely video on this screen protector. That's gonna be exciting in itself, but this is just bad. Okay, the back of the board doesn't look that bad. I'm not going to touch anything yet because I've not long been unplugged and I'm not sure if that cap's discharged. I might measure it in a second. Okay, there's no scorch marks or anything silly here. There's a little bit of flux residue left on the board. It's a little bit, how you doing? But I'm not going to do anything just yet. What I will do though is just quickly measure that cap, just in case it's stored any nasty voltages. So that is these 2 points here. We are looking at DC. Okay, that's Okay, it's less than the volt, so it's pretty safe. Is that the only main storage capacitor? It does appear so. Yep. So we've got our filtering inline fuse, X class cap, common mode filter, common mode choke I should say. There is a bridge rectifier, NTC. Well, okay, NTC, it must be a thyristor of some sort. But there's a lot of muck around the base. I don't know if you can actually see that. Zoom in a bit. Let's refocus. It's awfully wet down at the base of that cap. You can probably see it shimmering in the video there. But that's just crazy. That's impacted inwards, so it's not blown outwards. It's just shit the bed, big time. But why? Why would that have an impact on the top? There was no clearance issue to the top of the case. It fitted perfectly fine, so they haven't stoved in perhaps a slightly domed top just to fit it in the case. That just doesn't work. There's no reason for that. It's a bit on the wibbly wobbly side, but nothing more than what you would expect. Doesn't appear to be glued to the board. All right, let's desolder it. Get the bloody thing out of there. Yeah, the muck there is not only wet, it's also dark. Like, I think when I said shit the bed, I think that's exactly what it done. It has shit the bed. All right, let's desolder it, get it out of there. Okay, we know that the cap's discharged, so let's get that out of your view. Let's get that cap out. I might throw a bit of flux on it. Just to help out. What? Yuck. Look at that. Shit, its jock's all right. Straight out, it looks like one out of one of the leg holes. So I don't know whether this was compromised to start with, or someone's just playing a shit joke on me. That's so bad. Not only is it open for business on the top, it's copping at both ends. Although the sides of this is wet as, so I'm guessing that it's spilled over the top, leaked down the bottom, and then started fizzing out, probably because it's conductive. About 300 odd volts across these two pins, it decides to start sizzling and carrying on like a pork chop. Carrying on like a pork chop, probably sizzling like one on the old fry pan. That blows me away. Righto, I'm going to see if I can find a new one. I'll IPA the shit stains off this, and whoa. Okay, there you go. That's all the sizzling and carrying on we were hearing. Carrying on like a pork chop, all right. Look at that. All right, I'm going to get a new Q-tip and put some IPA on it and see what we can see. If that went any longer, it probably would have damaged the board. It's taken off the silk screen, or the solder mask I should say. Oh my God, that's just nuts. Look at that. Let's clean this right up because I can't. Well, let's get rid of that hot snot that doesn't stick. Oh, stupid. Crazy, crazy, crazy. It's completely munted the trace. your max. Okay. It's only been on 5 minutes and it's already done this. Yeah, the solder mask is just peeling off in the area. I've lost the through hole. Luckily, it doesn't need to be through hole because there's nothing on the other side. What am I saying? It has to be through hole because you got to solder it from one side. Oh, that's so bad. All right, more cleanup. Another Q-tip. Let's give it a what for, eh? Well, this review's going off to a swimming start. Swimming, haha, another pun. Swimming in electrolyte. It's supposed to be on the inside of a capacitor. Disappointing. Well, the through plating is completely gone. So I'm hopeful that I can, oh, that's so bad. I haven't located the cap, but I'll probably more than likely be able to find one. All right, I'll do some hunting around and be back. Okay, I've just found this old donor board. It's from a HP power supply. It seems to be from an old printer, HP printer of some sort. Anyway, it has exactly the value I need. It's a 68 microfarad 400 volt cap. So I'm gonna pinch that and replace it. It seems to be very closely sized. The pin spacing may be slightly different, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We'll all be. Okay, so the brand name is L-Tech. And then we've got some sort of, oh, it's actually the same brand. But I don't think this is a brand issue. This is a physical damage issue. So yeah, we'll go from there. Get this ground plane off. I'll tell you what, because this is sacrificial, we will just chop them off with the flush cutters as best we can. Not too concerned. I don't know if you can hear the weather in the background, but it's a stormy, windy, crappy afternoon. Good time to be inside a workshop, mucking around with cheap Chinese equipment. That's actually not a bad little ground plane. Shielding. Yeah, am I going to my crap box? Righto. Let's have a look at this. This has been long unplugged in a storage container somewhere, so I'm not overly concerned. Bung some flux on those cap joints. Take our cap off. Ooh, clobber the camera. Oh, it might be glued down, it appears to be. Just make double sure that we've got all that solder out of those joints. I don't want to pull the pin out. Okay, seems good. You can see that. And the holes seem to be clear. Yeah, 2 holes clear. Okay. Okay, so we'll try and crack the glue that's holding the cap in. Hopefully it's not too bad. Whoa! That's some tough glue. Oh, I might start it with a hobby knife. I don't want to put too much force on it. I don't want to break it before I get to use it and end up in the same boat. Oh, that must be a super glue of some sort. That is super, super tough. Whoop, I think we're just breaking it there. It's almost like an epoxy. It is. Wow, that's got it. I think I just drove this pin straight into my finger. Oh, good. Okay. Whee! Oh, it takes half the label with it. It just goes to show you how tough this glue is. Insane. Okay. Okay, I think we've got what we need. I can go over here for now. Okay, we've got enough of the label left on it to know what's going on. Let's check the pin spacing. Can we focus? We're not focusing. Why? Anyway, we can see that the pin spacing is the same. So we've looked into, let's get rid of this before we put it into our another device. Let's throw it in the bin. That'll do. Close enough. Okay, so we see that we've damaged, or partly damaged, the trace in here from the electrolyte leaking. So I'm not happy with the way that's presenting, or what's left. Let's see if I can zoom in. Oh yeah, you can see that, hopefully. Yep. This is not looking too great in here. But saying that, on the back of the board, I might shine a light on behind. You better see the tracks from the other side. So we want to check out what traces remain behind, and we can see, oops, we can see the trace here. I might get a bit of a marker. It might be a bit too bright, you can't see. There we go, try that. You can see our affected area, which is this here. This is a joint on the other side, a trace, and this is a trace. So whatever when the leg pokes through, what we'll do, we'll put a jumper between here and here, and then an insulated jumper over this trace to there and there, and see how we go with that. I think that'll be quite sufficient. We want to make sure we've got enough separation over this trace, because that is the polar opposite, and we don't want to interfere with that too much. Okay, we'll just get zoomed in a bit, find our cap. Let's pop it in, making sure we get our polarity bang on. So that's our negative. We want to make sure we maintain that. There's our negative with the thicker white part of the silk screen there. What I might do is just give it a little bit more of a clean. Still feels like there's a bit of residual electrolyte on there. And we know that's nasty crap when it's on the outside. Outside of the capacitor. Fancy that. Really looking forward to using this soldering iron, and then I have to be faced with this. So I will be contacting Banggood on this, just to see what the avenues are. I mean, it's a fairly easy repair, but the fact is you have to actually repair it. And such a serious fault on the primary side of the circuit. Now, to someone unsuspecting or unknowing, it's a big issue. Not good, not good at all. I'll just use a bit of paper towel just to dry up any residue, get right in there. Might use my fiberglass pen and I'll tin all this area here. Oh, that's looking better, look at that. Put some solder on there, make it, we've lost our solder mask. You can see there's a bit of a shine on that trace now, which is good. Give it one last little clean up. I feel like Gadget UK with these Omega repairs. I'm lucky. speaking about Amigas, I've got a few more videos to put out on my adventure, which is still actually underway. I've been blessed with a fairly healthy Amiga. Okay, let's tin that. Get that tangled here. Righto. Just that little tin. That's going to make zero contact to the pin, to the lead of the capacitor. So we'll definitely have to make sure we fix that issue on the other side of the board. Now I'm going to make certain that we've got enough clearance. We've got to be really, really aware that the gap between our board slot, I don't know if you can see that, is it in focus? Yeah, okay. That we've got enough height, so our board slot is in here, if we can see that. Just above that screw hole. Yeah, there you go, you can see it now. And we've got easily probably 1/4 of an inch, so we've got a bit of room underneath to make a decent connection underneath our board. The last thing we want is our board making contact with this full aluminium case, because that's going to make for a shocking experience if we're not careful. But happy with that. Yeah, pretty good. You can see that this version of the board, some use wires, some are actually directly connected. We look at the IEC connector here for the mains, and we've got direct solder straight to the PCB. There's some versions out there that use a really, well, in my opinion, underrated cable or wires from each section, but this seems to be fairly robust. Hopefully that this fixture to the back plate is enough that we don't have issues. But mind you, saying that, remember all the hot snot that we had inside the case, doing nothing? That just stopped the board moving up and down, where it sort of integrated with the edge of the board and the edge of the PCB slot in the case. It didn't really do much else. This whole connection is stopping the board sliding up and down these rails inside the case. So over time that may present a problem, but we can address that if and when it happens. I don't think this is going to see much abuse in that regard, so I think we'll be pretty safe. Okay, so that's done. That's all good. So let's put our cap in. Hopefully we've got enough room. So negative to the outside. Look at that. Drops straight in. 400 volt, 68 micro, same as the other. Get my little sponge. Pop that in there so it holds it all in. Drop a little bit of flux. We'll get that ground side soldered first, because we're going to have to do some work on the other. Where is my solder? There it is. Looks good. And we'll just tin the back of this, what's left of this pad, the through hole. It's a shame that we've lost that, but we can make the repair. Okay, that seems to be good. Right, I'll just find something thick enough to put across this section. I've normally got some heavy magnet wire from an old choke or something would do the job. I'll be right back. Okay, I found some very handy little breadboard jumpers that we can use, and they still come with a bit of insulation on there, so it'll stand off the board a little bit. What we'll do, we'll pop the one in that hasn't got a trace under it, and we'll get that one dealt with first. What I'll do is I'll trim the ends a little bit shorter and make sure that I've got enough to solder on. Let's do a quick measurement. Yeah, that's perfect. I think we'll do that. Cut the same amount off the other side. And that makes our first link. Yeah, that looks great. Okay, let's put a bit of flux on it. I only just got into this flux game. It's the cheap Chinese stuff, but it does help your joints. You don't always have to rely on your flux cord rosin solder. I don't find that the quality of that varies quite significantly. This seems to be a more consistent result. Just touch that in there. That's that one joint. Okay, then we want to move this over to the other side just for making it all look uniform. Pop it over that way, there we go. Perfect. Now, this jumper wire we're putting in is definitely going to have a bigger cross section than the trace that we're replacing. Well, it's running in conjunction with that trace because the trace isn't physically broken. But that will definitely work out. Okay, now we want to do the same again for this line. Very good. Let's straighten this one out. So yeah, like I said, I was looking forward to this soldering iron. I know it's a cheap, nasty job, but the main thing I was looking forward to was the format of the soldering pencil, because I want to get more into some SMD work, and I've cut that bit too short. What a numpty. Gonna get another one. What was I saying? Yeah, it was the format of the pencil that I was more interested in, because it's very close to the hand, the soldering tip, so you can have more control. So if you've got a bit of got the shakes, you don't. It's not as pronounced at the tip of the soldering iron if you have it closer to your hand. Here, I've got a green one now because it's got a slightly longer insulation. I want that on the other side. Oh. I think I'm going to be investing some tweezers. There we go. All right. Do the closer one to me first. Right after. Good old flux. So I don't know what you guys experience with these soldering irons, but I'm looking forward to using mine. I mean, the one I'm using at the moment is I feel like I've got a pretty steady hand. Why isn't that taking? That's just being a right pain in the bum. But I think just from a comfort level, okay, that's got it. Beautiful, beautiful. I'll put some nice, decent solder joints on that. Yep, I'm happy with that. Good job. Bit of IPA. Give it a bit of a scrub. Looking good. Okay, a bit of compressed air to dry things out. How's this sitting? Okay, it's actually popped up on one side, so what I might do is just reseat that capacitor. Just give that inside joint a bit of a heat up. Sorry, inside joint, which is this one. There we go, just feel that come through. Beautiful. See if you can see that. Focus is fail. I must have a setting that's not quite right. There we go. It's got it in focus now. And there's our jumper leads, which mimic the traces on the other side, which I'm happy about. Perfect. Just snip that little dag off. There we go. Good stuff. Board's pretty clean. All right. Well, while we're in here and we can see the circuit, this, I don't even know how you pronounce it. It's KSGER, I guess. This is the power supply board. The other part, all the brains of the board is the front panel. On the back of the front panel, we find the OLED display, rotary encoder, push button rotary encoder, which does all the business for your settings. A little mini DIN, 5-pin DIN plug for your soldering pencil. With that soldering pencil I got with mine is, seems to be plastic and rubber type. There's your T12 insert. This is the only one that came with this particular set. It's a K, which is the chisel tip. If we put that in the shot, you might be able to see it. There you go. The chisel tip type. It's probably useful for some cases, but I've ordered another set of 10 tips of various sizes. The one I'm most interested in is a small tip with a slight hook on it, and I think that might be ideal for the SMD work. So that might be probably the best way, best tip to use. But then again, each to their own. Whatever flavour you want, as long as it gets the job done and you're not shorting out pins. So the handle is a knockoff, I guess, from the Hacko version, 9501, I guess. That's what it seems to, ESD safe, soldering iron, blah, blah. But yeah, the reason why I got this is because the very short fingertip to soldering tip distance, if you compare that to a standard pencil type, it's nearly double from where your fingers end up to the end of the tip. I'll clean that tip, it's disgusting. Practically double. So I prefer that it's more localized and it's more control as you're doing your soldering and your whatnot. You've got, that shorter distance, and it's a more comfortable angle. I mean, you can hold the pencil depending on what you're doing, but this is I just find it a lot more comfortable and a lot more control. It's really, really good. So that's what I'm really keen on. I'm looking forward to. But anyway, we've got our rocket cap sorted, hopefully, and we'll give it a test, put it into the case, switch her on, and we'll go from there. I was talking about the front panel here. So we've got a micro. It does appear to be, see if you can read that. If not, I'll stick it on it's supposed to be on autofocus, but I've got to manually focus it. Jeez. It must be a setting I've got. So that is an STM32F. So a very capable little micro to do what it needs to do here. It's all pulse width modulated, does the business, I guess. I haven't really put it in its paces yet, but let's get it together and go from there. Okay, I've got the unit back together, ready for testing. Top case and the bottom case have a keyed edge. It's essentially the same extrusion, but you can reverse them and this becomes the lid of the other half. So one's got a slight C shape in it and one's just got a slot, and they both marry up and they just form the case, and you put your screws in and that's what retains it. So this unit's actually quite small. It's actually quite compact. It's really good. It's only about 125, maybe 150 long, 1.5 inches high, and probably 3 and a bit inches wide. So fairly compact little unit. So what happens now? It might just completely go up in smoke, but I'm more comfortable with that cap now. Same value out of a reputable switch mode power supply. I didn't have one in stock, so I had to rob one from a donor board. Let's see how we go. All right, plugging in now. In we go. Okay, smoke in 3, 2, 1. No death, no destruction. Oh, we've got screens come up. It says error. Well, it says error because we've got no soldering pencil hooked up. Let's just leave it running for a few minutes and see if we've got no issue. I'm just going to put it up to my ear. No sizzling sounds. So I'm pretty happy with that. The overall construction, it's the proper isolation slots around the separating the high from the low potential circuits are good. The quality of the construction is fine, but what happened to that first capacitor was just, can't explain that. That's just, doesn't give me much faith, especially if an unsuspecting person sort of got this and then left it unattended. God knows what would have happened. All right, let's power it down. We'll get our pencil, soldering pencil. Attach that. So it is keyed, so the key goes towards the top of the socket. I like the screw retainer on that. That's a great idea. Oh, that weather, nuts. Okay, what I might do, I'll put the lid back on and start her up after that. I'll be back in a second. Okay, all the screws are back in. It's a nice neat little unit. I'll just prop the front up so you can probably see the display a bit better. It's got a nice little OLED display. See if that works for you there. There we go. It's sliding around a bit, but I think you'll get the picture. Pencil's ready to go. Let's flick it on and see what happens. Okay, heating up. All right, beeps, I set it to 350. That took less than 10 seconds, I guess, to get to 350. And the tip definitely smells nice and warm. Let's give it a bit of a 10. Other solder over here, we'll use that. All right, it's making all the right fumage. Very good, like that. Dip that. That's tinned up very nicely. All right, I'll just go through the basic feature set. I'm just going to pop this here. That's hot. I've got no stand for it. That's the only thing. I bought this unit. It didn't even come with the IEC cable. I had to supply that myself. Luckily, I've got the buckets of them. But all you get is the pencil, the T12-K tip, and the unit itself. That's all you get. No instruction manual, nothing. So you have to either, I believe you can go to the KSGER, whatever that means, website and download the instruction set. But the controls themselves are fairly intuitive. Nothing too difficult to wrap your head around. I do like the fact that it's got plenty of information on the screen. One of the nice little features is when you're using the basic settings and you want to go to standby, you can either wait for the timer to run out. I think I've got mine set to 5 minutes. Or if you want to force it into standby, just rotate the dial left, just a few notches, and it'll go into standby, then it'll go into sleep. Both settings, I believe, there's a shake setting. I believe there is a shake switch in the handle of the soldering pencil. Let's just see if it brings it out of sleep. Well, there's a fail. You can hear the switch. I'll shake it near my mic. You can hear that rattle. That's the shaking switch that's inside the handle. It doesn't seem to bring it out of sleep. But then if you, there you go, if you press the rotary switch, it turns it all back on again. Now, if you were soldering something that had a decent ground plane and you needed a little bit more heat, you can call up what's called boost. So if you turn the dial to the right, just a couple of clicks, it goes into boost, and that boost will, at this point, raise your set point by 50 degrees or whatever you set your boost setting to be, and that will give you 400 degrees just to get through those ground planes if you're soldering something that's difficult, that's sinking a lot of heat. If you want to come out of boost, just turn it left a little bit and you'll go back into your set point, your normal mode. And then if you're going to walk away for a while, a few steps left again, you'll go into standby. Mine's currently set standby at 100 degrees, just so you're not chasing that full ramp back up to operating temperature when you want to come back to it. You can set it. This heats up so quick, you could set it to a lower temperature, if not even off, rather than switching it on from the back there. And then if you go a few steps more, you go into sleep mode. Now, I forget what my sleep mode is. I think it is actually off. I'm not going to sit around and wait. But yeah, the old shake setting, what I mean by that is if we hold down our rotary switch, the first few, there we go. Standby, sleep, boost is our first three. I don't know if you can actually see that. Is that focused well enough? Is our first three settings: standby, sleep, boost. So if we go to standby, click into that, there's an option for shake. Shake, auto, manual, switch. I wonder if that means no, because it's got a shake setting. So the shake setting, I believe, is this shaking switch in the pencil handle. Who knows? So standby mode is in 5 minutes and standby temp is 100 degrees. So if we click out of that, I'll leave it at shake for now. And we go to sleep. Sleep setting is 15 minutes. And boost, there you go, boost setup. So this is your boost setting. So basically I've got mine set to 50 degrees. Now that's 50 degrees above your set point. So my set point's normal set point, which is currently set at 350. Boost will then boost another 50 degrees to 400. Obviously you can change that to suit you depending on your work style and work type. And boost time is 5 minutes, unless you cancel it beforehand. So it will return to the normal set point after a period. Okay, so that's what I've got so far out of this. And then we got various other settings. Cold end, which is the temp of the unit itself. This is actually set to measure the temperature from within the STM32. It does have an NTC option, but I did have that selected, or was selected as a default setting out of the box, and the temperature was jumping around all over the place and everything was erratic and I didn't know what was going on. I don't know if that feature is actually installed, but as soon as I changed it to CPU, which is the option, everything started looking really good. Tip setting, it's just the type of tip you use. I didn't find anything useful in there. There's a massive list. Nothing correlates to a T12K, but I did go in there and made sure K was selected and seems to be fine. Then we've got stepping. All that means is when you're dialing in your temperature, it steps by a certain amount that you've preset. So it steps by 5 degrees per step, 10 degrees, or whatever you set. Mine's set for 10 because that's a decent variation in temperature. You're not really going to, 5 degrees is too granular, I would suggest. So in my experience, 10's perfect, if not 20. Password, now if you were to have this on an assembly line, you can set a password so the settings can't be changed. So the only person that could change it would be a supervisor, shift supervisor or something, so you're not having not having your sweatshop workers changing the temperatures and ripping tracks off boards. Screensaver speaks for itself. It just sets the timer when the screensaver comes in. Buzzer, self-explanatory. Voltage, now that, oh yeah, just the voltage display. It's in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen when the unit's in normal mode. I've got mine turned on just for shits and giggles. Low volume P, what is that? Low volume protect, function off. Low volume. I guess if this was a battery powered unit, you could set your cutout point. So you don't want your battery to go flat if you're using it. You could be using it off a power bank of some sort. Maybe that's what this is for. Alarm voltage, and then you've got shutdown voltage. This is mains powered, so that's irrelevant in this case. It just seems like one firmware suits all. So we're not going to worry about that too much. Power on, so that's your default state when you first power on the unit. Does it heat up to operating temperature, or does it just go to standby, or does it even start up in sleep? I'm pretty sure that's your settings. So running means straight to your normal set point for normal operation, straight into sleep mode, straight into standby mode, or running. So that's your three settings. So I've got mine on running because if I'm turning this on, I want to use it. So let's go straight into our normal running state. Desolder, I guess that's a setting for something else that's not within this kit, not within this product. Pump set, same again. Must be the same firmware for numerous products, but it doesn't have any relevance here, not that I could detect. Language, self-explanatory. Date and time, this has a real-time clock. You can set your date and time, just in case you forget what date and time it is. You could be soldering for days. RTC adjust, now I believe that's just a drift setting. I'm not sure where that would be relevant, if it's that critical, but you can actually set that. RTC initialize, so that's cancelling all your settings and starting again, or just resetting it to start again. System info, now this one here, as advertised, hardware version 2.1S, and we have our software version 2.10. That's what it was advertised when I purchased this on Banggood, so I've got what I've paid for, even the little rocket cap it came with. So it seems to be all working well. Initialize, it's full system initialize, so you bring everything back to factory settings and then exit. So the menu system is quite extensive for what this device is. What is that? Okay, so defaults to 2013, 1st of the 1st, 2013. Power off. The tip is currently at 28 degrees. Is it? Yep, tip is actually off at the moment. Right, so if we're in sleep mode or standby, it looks like it shows the time. So this is actually showing midnight, 10 minutes past midnight, because I haven't set the time yet. Okay, so that is just a brief rundown of this unit. Do we want to do some soldering tests? You know what? I sort of do and I sort of don't. I don't really want to do it with this tip because this tip's not really conducive to what the type of projects I do. Now, let's leave it for now. I'll do more of an in-depth soldering test once I get my new tips, my other tips, and go from there. But all in all, it seems to be working. It definitely does get hot. There we go. If you press the button in, just quick jab, the tip heats up, and it most certainly is heating up. And then it beeps when it gets to temp, set to 350. So that is from room temperature to 350 in what felt like 5 or 6 seconds. Pretty good. Pretty good. The more on the pencil, the cable itself is silicone jacketed cable, really compliant, no problem at all. It's only about, I'd say it's just short of 1 metre long, or 3 feet. But I mean, this is on your desktop. This is going to be tucked up in my bench, and this is probably perfect. or even off to my right hand side, sitting facing my right hand side because I'm right-handed and I'm generally soldering with my right hand anyway. So yeah, that pretty much concludes this. A bit of a drama to start with, out of the box. Well, out of the box, actually it was in bubble wrap and a postage bag. So it was it didn't even turn up in the box. But yeah, $70 delivered to the land down under. Can't complain. You'd expect it to work out of the box though. But there you have it. If you want to buy one of these, just be wary. Keep your ears and eyes open and your nose, because I don't know how many more units have damaged capacitors like that. I'm hoping this is a one-off. I still don't have an answer to why that capacitor was in its condition that it arrived in. Yeah, can't explain that one bit. All right guys, thanks for watching. If you like this content, don't forget to thumb up, comment in the comment section if you have any questions or queries. I'm happy to address most things. Well, I'll address all things. And yeah, hit that bell icon because you'll get notified when I upload new videos. I've got a few planned. I've got a couple more reviews, not only with this, but I've just got a lab power supply that you might be interested in. Just running, I've done a video on that. I've got to edit it, but stay tuned. Got plenty of videos coming. Thanks for watching.